Well, hi there, it's Tiffany from Daisy Farm Crafts, and today I'm excited to teach you how to make a corner to corner mesh stitch blanket. So I've kind of done it with as many colors as I could using Bernat Softy Baby Cotton. I just love that yarn. And the colors that I started with, I'll just do a quick run through. This is Dusk Sky, Aqua Mist, Jade Frost. This is called Golden. This is Sandstone. And this peach color is called Blush. And then the purple colors are Soft Plum and Pale Periwinkle, and then start over with the Dusk Sky. So that's a list of the colors that I used. And the size of hook that I like to use with this yarn is a G 4mm. And so you're gonna be surprised at how easy this is. Now let me see if I can, of course you can see more pictures on our website, but it's a rectangle shaped blanket with diagonals. So it's not a square C2C. Another thing you might want to have on hand is a stitch marker. That will help you. Okay, let's get started. All right, so basically we're going to be making a swatch that kind of looks like that. I didn't pay attention to the color changes, but anyway, I did change colors in the original blanket every 8 rows. But this is what I mean when we're going to be making a rectangle, not a square. Okay, get your slip knot onto your hook, and this blanket begins with 2 chains. 1, 2, that's it. Now work 1 single crochet into that very first chain you made, or second chain from the hook. Work 1 single crochet, chain 1, and work another single crochet right into that same space. You just made your first row. Now chain 1, turn your work, and in that single crochet that you just made, so it's the second V look from the hook, work what is going to be called your increase, which means single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, all into the same stitch. Now chain 1, skip the next chain from the row below, find that last single crochet and work 1 single crochet, and that's row 2. Now chain 1 and turn, and let's repeat that again. We're going to work an increase right into the first stitch, which means we'll single crochet, chain, and single crochet. Then we'll chain 1, skip the chain from the row below, work into a single crochet, into the single crochet from the row below, chain 1, and work a single crochet into the very last single crochet. Okay, so a mesh stitch is always the pattern of single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. It's like if you can imagine stacking the single crochets on top of each other and stacking the chains on top of each other. Okay, let's do this again. Increase, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet right into the very first stitch. And then just work your mesh stitch essentially across the row. So I chain 1, because there's my chain 1. I single crochet into the top of that single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet into the very last single crochet. We're doing pretty good. You can see our little corner developing, chain 1 and turn. So we're just increasing every time in the first stitch. Now work the mesh stitch across the row. We're going to be doing this for 8 rows. Okay, I just finished my 8th row. So I have this nice little triangle here, and I want to change color. So on the very last step of the stitch, I'm just going to lay that new color over and pull through. Now this is where also I want you to go ahead and place a stitch marker on this side of the work. Anywhere is fine. And this stitch marker is just going to stay there. Just so that you don't get confused, and you'll always know that when the stitch marker is on your left hand side, that's basically you have finished an even number of rows. So that might help you with knowing when you've gotten to the 8th row. And also it will help you knowing in just a little bit down the road when we turn this into a rectangle. So, but that's the first thing, is to know that when it's over here on your left, you've done an even number of rows. Okay, let's just continue increasing here. So what does that mean? Work that single crochet, chain 1, single crochet all into the first stitch right when you turn the row, and then continue the mesh stitch across the row. So as it's getting bigger, it's a little bit easier to see that there's my chain, I chained. I don't ever work into those chains. I'm only ever inserting my hook down here between those little V's of the single crochet stitch, and I'm working a single crochet. So like I said, every color change in the blanket will be 8 rows, but I think for this sample, we'll go ahead and pretend that we've done a bunch of color changes. And after 4 rows of this gold color, I'm going to show you how to start decreasing to make it look like a rectangle. So another thing too is make sure you're not missing this very last single crochet over here. Sometimes it can get hidden down. And then one thing I found too is that I really had to pay close attention to make sure I was doing that increase in the first stitch. Sometimes I would get distracted and I forgot to put that second single crochet into that first stitch. And that's really important to keep the blanket increasing along the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to do a couple more rows and we'll start working on the technique to decrease. Okay, so I just completed my 4th row. Easy way, like I say, I know, is because my marker's over here on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we are going to start bringing the work up this way. We want to start making an edge going up that way so that it's a rectangle. So what we'll do is chain 1 and turn, and now the stitch marker side, or the side where you're always changing the yarn colors, this side will always start with the increase. So work just as we've done before. We're still building that side, gonna go straight up that way. But on this opposite side is where we're going to start decreasing and building the side up. It's amazing to me how this works, just simply by omitting a couple stitches. I love the magic of it. This is amazing. Okay, I'm getting right here to the end where I only have left to work is a chain and a single crochet. So all I'm going to do is not make a chain. So my last 2 stitches are 2 single crochets together. I'm skipping over that chain space and working just a single crochet into the last single crochet. That's it. Now chain 1 and turn. And instead of working into the very first single crochet or the last single crochet of that row that I made, skip it and work into the second single crochet, which is next to the chain 1, so that we can just start that chain, the mesh stitch pattern going right up the side. So I'm going to start with a single crochet, and the chain is going to match and be right on top of the chain from the row below. And that's it. That's where, on this side is where you start that decrease. Now, everything will be the same on this other side where you have your stitch marker. Make sure you're still working into that very last single crochet of the row. And I did chain 1. Nothing has changed. We're not decreasing on this side. Chain 1 and turn. And that was the end of the 6th row. So we've got 2 more rows to go. I've got my stitch marker. This is the stitch marker side. Always increasing. We're going to be increasing until we have the height of the blanket that we want on this side. So that's why I had you put that stitch marker there. It's just to keep it straight. And now as we work across, when I get to the end, I'm going to decrease again. Okay, so here we go. This is my last chain. I want to skip that. Don't make a chain to go over that chain. Skip it. Just work 1 single crochet into the very last single crochet. That's it. Then chain 1 and turn. Now skip over that single crochet work into the second one so that we can start the mesh stitch pattern. So an easy way to look for that single crochet is just look for that chain one space, and you'll know that that's the one you want to go to. And you'll see, it looks like it's not building, like we've kind of got a round thing here, but we really don't. It will build, you'll see. That outside edge will get going. Okay, this is my 8th row, so we're gonna go ahead and do another color change. Stop right there. All right, let's add in that sandstone. Chain one, still building up that side. So I want to make sure I work that increase on this side. Okay, you can really kind of start seeing where your last single crochet is. It'll start moving up as you go, so I can tell. Here's my chain on the second to last. This would be my last single crochet of the row. I'm not gonna chain. I'm just gonna go right into it. Chain one and turn. And now with this new color, maybe you can see that I'm skipping over this first stitch, working right into that single crochet that's next to the chain so I can begin my mesh stitch. And I think after this color change, you'll be able to see that this other side is working its way up. Let's see. You see? You can tell that here we go. This was kind of our point, and now we're slowly building that up. So I'm going to work this for 4 more rows, and then we're going to say that's enough of the height going up this way, and I'll show you how to finish squaring it off, and we'll have this little rectangle. Okay, I just completed the 4th row in this sandstone color. So now I want to start squaring this off. Okay, so here is what we're going to do. We are going to stop increasing here at the top. So just work 1 single crochet into the very first stitch, chain 1, and work single crochet into the next stitch. Now we're still going to finish the row down here the exact same way. We're omitting the last chain, skipping over it. We're not making one, we're skipping one, and we're working directly into the final single crochet. Chain 1, we're skipping over that very first single crochet, working into the second one. Working our way back up. This is row 6. And now when we get back up here to this top, to this side, we want to start decreasing. So Here is my last single crochet. No, let's see, I've got one more to go. Single crochet, chain one. Here's that last chain one and single crochet. So I'll work the single crochet, chain one, turn, skip, work into the next one. Here I am skipping that last chain, making sure I decrease when I get here to this edge. And then you'll see it's going to start decreasing across the top. Okay, this is my 8th row, however. So after this, we're going to do a color change. Now, same thing up here at the top. Identify your last single crochet. Skip the chain, don't make a chain, skip over the chain, work one single crochet into the final stitch there. Oh, let's change color though here. Okay, so here I am at the top. Chain one. And let's turn. And this will start looking more, again, it looks like it's curving down, but once we start getting these rows going and keep continuing the decreasing, you'll be all right. So now, until the end of the blanket, you still will be switching colors every 8 rows, but each end is a decrease. So that means you're always looking ahead for that final single crochet, skipping the chain, don't make a chain, chaining one and turning, starting in the 2nd single crochet. And I'm going to do that on both ends of the row. Maybe in this color change, it's a little bit easier to see that this is my last single crochet. So I want to skip the chain, work just into that single crochet, chain one and turn. Skip over the 1st stitch, work into that 2nd single crochet. And it will just continue to decrease just like magic and make that corner. Okay, this is the start of my 8th row. And so I have 4 stitches left. So just treat it the same way. We're decreasing over here and decreasing on this side. So essentially all you're doing is 2 single crochets. Now just chain one, turn your work, and go ahead and work 1 single crochet into that final stitch, and you've got yourself your corner and you're done. Now I do recommend, of course, before you start the border, you're going to have a nice end weaving in party because there will be a lot of ends. And then you can start the border. And guess what? The border I did is just the exact same mesh stitch. So let me show you that on the blanket. Is that I just worked 2 rounds of single crochet, chain one, single crochet. So, and I tried to work 1 single crochet per the end of each row. And that's all you do. And so now you know how to increase and decrease and you're good to go. You've got this darling corner to corner mesh stitch blanket, but in a rectangle. And I loved that. I loved that it wasn't a complete square. And I know a question I might get is, can we make this in any yarn? Absolutely. This is just, would be amazing in anything that you want to do. Any type of yarn. I can't see any type of yarn not working. So anyway, thanks you guys so much for coming by, and I hope this was helpful. And of course, as always, I cannot wait to see what colors that you decide to do. And if you'd come share with us on in our Facebook group, Daisy Farm Crafters, or just if you're only on Instagram, just on your public post in the caption, add hashtag Daisy Farm Crafts. And we'd love to share them every Sunday. We do Sunday shares. So you have a beautiful day. We'll see you soon.